Well, did we really expect to win, though? What is up, guys? I am Joey here, and welcome back to I Am Joey Sports TV, and we are going we are today going to talk about Aston Villa over this past week. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Liverpool game, as I didn't make a video last week like I intended to, and I'm going to be talking about the Man United game that happened last night. Now, I was going to make a video last night, but I was that frustrated and that, like, what's the word? I was just so disheartened and so annoyed that I probably would have said things yesterday that I probably didn't mean. So I thought I'd sleep on it. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really woke up feeling any better. So I got a list of things that I want to talk about here. Now these are in no particular order, but I'm gonna just start off with the game of Liverpool last week. Now, I thought we played against them really well. I thought we maybe could have scraped a draw. When I say maybe, you know, use that term loosely. We could have maybe scraped a draw. They took a long time to break us down, and bear in mind, they are the world champions of football. So when I say world champions, you know, like Premier League, Champions League, and they've just won the, like, World Cup, not World Cup, but it's like, it was some other form of cup. I think it was like the Super League Cup Champions or something. Either way, they've won a lot this year, and they should have really won last year. Liverpool are the best team in the world right now, and they really took a long time to break Villa down. Bear in mind, Villa are a relegation battle. No real standout players other than Jack Grealish and maybe Mings every now and then, who I am and want to talk about at some point. So yeah, I don't really want to drabble too much on about last week. I believe we maybe should have got a draw. We weren't absolutely smashed like I thought we would be, which is a good thing. So this week, I wasn't optimistic, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, we're going to get absolutely hammered. After last week, I think we could be in with a chance, because bear in mind, we drew 2-2 with Man United already this season alone at their place as well. So I was quietly like, maybe we could get something from this game. However, obviously, us being Villa, I wasn't overly confident. I wasn't like, yeah, we're going to get something from this game. That doesn't happen. So, let's talk about the game. So, at the start of the game, when we kicked off, Villa looked really up for it. I was like, come on, Villa. Yeah, yes, that's it. Try. And obviously, I'm assuming Dean Smith, before the game, was like, look guys, we really need to start picking up points here, because we're in real trouble. Do you see what I'm saying? And we are in real trouble. So at the start, we were like really up for it, and really like, whoo, wow, we got a good chance. We might win this. We might get a draw. We looked like we were up for it. We looked like we were up for the battle, and players just really tried, and it looked really promising. And I was like on the edge of my seat going, yes, come on. Oh, do you know what I mean? Which I didn't expect to be playing Man U. So that was the start of the game. I'd say first 10 to 20 minutes we were like doing okay. After about 20 minutes or so, Man United started to look a little bit better. After I would say our problem is that first drinks break. After that first drinks break, obviously, tactically, we most of the time don't change. We don't do anything differently. We just carry on with whatever we were doing before the drinks break, and the other team always seems to counter it in some way, shape or form. And then after Man U grow into the game, Ezri Konsa made a silly challenge. Personally, I believe it was on the edge of the area. Wasn't great. However, do I think it was a penalty? Absolutely not. Not a penalty. If anything, their player, their Bruno Fernandes, falls on top of Ezri Konsa and of course holds his leg like he's absolutely snapped it in two, going, oh my god, oh my god. And of course the ref buys it. Everyone's just stood there like, what's going on? And the ref gave them a penalty. Now, was it a penalty? No. Dean Smith was absolutely raging. The players couldn't believe it. I think even the Man U players were like, what's going on? Has he give it? I'm not sure. Has he give it? I don't know, has he? Yeah, I think he has. Quick, go take it before it changes his mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone could quite believe it. And I was just sat there. Bear in mind, this was 27 minutes just after the drinks break, and I was just a little bit like, great. Another reason that Villa are gonna lose is some really bizarre penalty given to Manchester United, and I just kind of gave up after the penalty. So God knows what the players felt like. It was just so bad. So of course, the penalty goes in. The players are still baffled. I'm still baffled. And of course, 1-0 down against Man United and on the 27th minute against some of the best players in the world. Some of them have just won the World Cup, like Pogba. Our confidence is already crippled, and I think that whatever little confidence we may have had just completely went down the drain from there. As from that moment, Villa kind of like went into their shell a bit. Villa went into their shell a bit, and Man U just came at us. And that was really, for me, the end of the game. But I mean, of course, Villa was still in it, and then, of course, was still trying after the penalty, didn't really have too much. And then, of course, Mason Greenwood, just before half-time, smashed one in because Mings gave the ball away and no one went towards him, no one shot him down. Mings, I think he lost the ball on the halfway line, and that just says to me, 2-0 against Man United at half-time, game over. What can you say to the players in the dressing room at half-time to try and convince them that they are still going to get something against one of the world's most famous teams, one of the world's most, greatest teams of all time? What can you say to Villa in a relegation battle that more than likely looks like they're going to get relegated at this point? What can you say to them to pick them back up? The answer is nothing. There is no answer. It's a trick question. You won't. It's impossible. I'm a really confident person, but if I was a footballer, it doesn't matter how much money I was on, if your confidence is crippled, you're not going to play well. And that's for me what happened. Players stopped trying, and at half time, no one can say anything. You're 2-0 down, nearly the end of the season. You've just had 3 months break. There's nothing that's going to get you back against Man United. Nothing, in my opinion, unless you're a better team. So after half time, no changes. Bear in mind, relegation battle, 2-0 down. So, Mr. Smith at half time, shall I put 2 up front? Nah. Shall I change tactics? Nah, it's fine. What shall I do? I won't do anything. It's fine. We'll come back. We're Aston Villa. We'll come back. No! It doesn't work like that, Mr. Smith. It doesn't work. You change. You put 2 up top. You bring on someone. So, did he bring on someone at half time? No, of course he didn't. Absolutely not. Why would he do that? It's Dean Smith. He doesn't change tactics. Don't be daft. And then guess what? 58 minutes. Mr. Paul Pogba smashes one in, and guess what Mr. Smith decides to do when we're 3-0 down against Manchester United? In the 59th, sorry, he decides to bring on Conor Hourihane and take off an attacking winger. Now, I don't know about you, but taking off Anwar El Ghazi is an absolutely ridiculous decision unless you're going to bring on a striker. Don't get me wrong, I like Conor Hourihane. This isn't me saying don't bring on Conor Hourihane, he's trash. I like him. I think his set-piece delivery is fantastic. I think his corners are good. I do like him. I know he likes to have a crack at goal. I like Conor Hourihane. But he's not a player that you're going to bring on in the Premier League when you're in a relegation battle who's going to score a hat-trick. This is not the Championship. It won't happen. And it really baffles me why he didn't bring on Keenan Davis. If you're going to take off Anwar El Ghazi, bring on Keenan Davis. Obviously, like, then have two up front. But guess what? He takes off Samatta instead. A striker, and brings on another striker, so still one up front. So, is that a change in tactics, Mr. Smith, when you're 3-0 down against Manchester United in the 58th minute? No, it's not. It's like changing Wayne Rooney for Wayne Rooney. It's not going to change. It's not going to do anything. You've still got one up front against probably one of the best defences in the league. And bear in mind, Keenan Davis is, what, 20? He's no older than 25. He's still very, very young. I personally don't think he should be... I like Keenan Davis. He needs a goal so badly, and I think he deserves a goal. But I don't think he's someone who's you're going to bring on against Manchester United who's going to score a hat-trick to get us a draw. You need two up front to at least panic their defence. But did Mr. Smith do that? No. Absolutely no change at half-time. Didn't bring on subs until the 60th minute when you've only got half an hour left. And even then, you've still only got one striker on the field when you're 3-0 down in a relegation battle against one of the best teams in the world. Does anyone see where I'm coming from here? Please tell me in the comments what you think on Mr. Smith. Of course, the goal goes in just before we make the substitutions. It's game over at that point. 3-0 down. You're not going to come back. That's end. I don't care what you say. We're not Barcelona. We're not going to come back from 3-0 down against Manchester United. It is game over, and that's the end of that, basically. Let's talk about the players now. I'm going to start talking about the main guy, the main man, Mr. Jack Grealish. Mr. Jack Grealish, you are one of the best players I have ever had the pleasure of watching in an Aston Villa side. I've personally been watching since the Gabby, Ashley Young era, Petrov, all them amazing players back in the 05, 06, 07, 08 and 09. That's when I started watching the Villa. And Jack Grealish, bear in mind he's in a very, very poor Villa side, and look how much he stands out. Since the lockdown, and he's had that fine, he's been given the captain's armband, and in my opinion, more or less since he's had that massive wage increase, Mr. Jack Grealish does not look like he wants to be at Villa anymore. He looks frustrated. He looks really off. He looks like he'll run and pass to someone, and then if they don't get the ball, he'll throw his arms in the air. He'll have his head in his hands. He'll be shaking his head. He just looks off. Too many people have blown smoke up his ass, and he is not interested in being Villa anymore. I don't give a how much of a fan he is. He does not want to be at the club anymore, and in my opinion, up or down, he needs to go at this point. His head's not in the game. If he wants to be this so-called fantastic world's best player like Kevin De Bruyne, and he is his idol, and someone's blown way too much smoke up Jack's ass, because he does not look bothered. He does not look like he cares. He does not look like a Villa fan anymore. Remember the Villa fan who had his head screwed on when he got punched in the face at the Blues game? Remember how much of a brilliant comeback that was, and how much passion he looked like when he was scored. And remember that, Villa fans, because it was only last year, and look at him now. The difference is humongous. The difference is like two different players, and he does not look like he can be bothered. I really am going to get hate for saying this, but Jack should not be at Villa anymore. If he is still at Villa come next season, I will be so pissed off unless there's a massive change in attitude. Someone really needs to talk to him, because he does not look like he can be asked. He keeps saying, oh, I want to keep Villa in the Prem, that's my main goal right now, and then at the end of it, we'll see whether I'm here or not. We'll see whether you're here or not, mate. Oh my days. Honestly, Jack, mate, you need to step up or step off. you just need to play, or just don't, and say I don't want to play. A half-assed try is not good enough. Now I want to talk about another player who I just think deserves to be shouted out. I want to talk about Douglas Luiz. Again, I'm bringing up Douglas Luiz. What a fantastic player Douglas Luiz is turning out to be. What a good player. Passionate, aggressive. Bear in mind, he's a central defence mid. And he's running forward with the balls, looking for the pass, putting in some good tackles. What a good player he is becoming. And I will not be surprised if Manchester City will want him back at the end of the season. I really want him to stay. I would not be surprised, though, if he does not want to drop a league, because he doesn't deserve to drop a league. Now let's talk about another player. Back to the negativity. Yay! John McGinn. Oh my days, did you guys see it when Douglas Luiz side passed to John McGinn, and John McGinn just stood there as if to say, I don't win the ball. And Douglas Luiz was raging. He was going, come on! I'm not surprised he was raging. That's another player who's since his injury. Absolutely dire. And guess what? Another player who's just been given a new contract. Is it just me, or all these players who've been given new contracts just can't be asked since they've been given a new contract? Jack's been given a new contract, can't be asked. John McGinn, new contract, can't be asked. What is going on? Stop giving them contracts if they can't be asked. Oh my days. It's so frustrating to watch Villa right now, because we have the potential to not be bottom. We have the potential to be at least a mid-table club, and with players like Jack at his full potential, John McGinn at his full potential, Douglas Luiz working with them, and Keenan Davis and Samatta, who is another player I just really can't see where they pulled him from. I just don't know why we are where we are. We have the players. What's going on? And I put it again down to the fact that some of our players are just not good enough, and tactics. It's simple as that. So, let's move on now to the last little bit of negativity, and then we'll go on to some hilarity. So, again, I just want to talk about Tyrone Mings. We wouldn't be in this league without Tyrone Mings. That's a no-brainer. But since his cap for England, I hate to sound like a parrot and negative, but since his cap for England, he's not been the same player. He just sort of is just a bit gone a bit arrogant for me, and arrogant in a bad sense. And I really like Mings. I think he's such an asset to football. He stands up for racism. He goes to protests. Brilliant. Honest. He's come from non-league. And that to me is an idol. That's fantastic. Mings is what football should be all about. But since he's got that England call up, he's took completely the wrong turn in my opinion. And again, he just doesn't look like the same player. And it really disappoints me, because I think he's such a good English defensive player. He's big, he's quick, he's strong, he's powerful, but he makes really bizarre mistakes. Gets caught out, gets tackled in the middle of the centre circle, gives away the ball, doesn't close players down. And I don't know whether that's just due to confidence, like lacking a bit of confidence within the team as a whole, or whether it's the tactics, like Smith wants to play a high line and he's getting caught out. Or at this point, I really don't know. But Mings for me seems to be a little bit hit and miss, I'm going to call it. Fantastic one day, and a bit, well, missed the next. Let's just scramble across the rest of the players. Taylor's done well since he's come in. Ezri Konsa, young, gonna make mistakes unfortunately. Personally, I don't think he's ready for the Prem, but that's just my opinion. House, again, Wolves sold him to us for a reason. Championship, fair enough. Prem, no. Personally, not for me. I would much rather have Konsa in the middle. Konsa's not a right back, bear in mind. Much rather have Konsa in the middle and then have El Mohammadi at right back, or Gilbert at right back. Douglas Luiz, brilliant, outstanding player. John McGinn, he needs to be dropped. He looked knackered as well. If he can't be asked, just don't play. Just say, if you don't want to play for the club, just say, look, do call that he's doing at Real Madrid. If you don't want to play, just say, look, I'm not playing. Just pay me. What's his name? Gareth Bale. Do what Gareth Bale's doing at Real Madrid. Just say, play me. Don't play me as long as I get paid. Just do that. If you don't want to play, at least we aren't going to have a half-assed performance. Trezeguet, in my opinion, looks good, but just lacks that end product. He'll look good 1 minute, and then the next minute he'll be a bit 50-50. Jack, best player in the squad by far, but really needs to get his head in the game. We've got 4 games left, and his beloved childhood Villa club is going to get relegated if he really doesn't start to turn up soon. Samatta, in my opinion, out of his depth. Looks good, but apparently he heads the ball, as his specialty is heading the ball, and we're passing it to him like he's 6'6", like big Lukaku type player, and he's not. He's really not. He's this really small, quick Tanzanian bloke, and he's not going to score if you don't pop it on his noggin. So you need to have 2 up top, Keenan Davis to hold the ball up and Samatta to run onto the ball, but I think that's going to take time in itself. I don't think that's just going to click overnight. I honestly think that's just going to, that's just going to take time. To me, he doesn't look good enough. He doesn't really look like he wants to be there. I don't really see any passion from him. I don't see him wanting the ball to his feet like this. I don't really see anything from him, passion-wise. And that doesn't, I'm not just going to pick on him. It goes for half the squad, I'm not going to lie. I don't see any passion from him at all. So, yeah. So let's talk about Mr. Smith now, the end of the game. Smith blames the loss on VAR. Straight away, he said he didn't want to say what he thought about VAR, but he has a few choice words. I can somewhat sympathise with him and agree, because VAR, at the end of the day, if they score first, I mean, if we score first, it could be a different game. But because they score first from such a poor decision, I do kind of agree with him. It's the same, really, as last week. It's kind of like, oh, it's not our fault, it's your fault. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know what to say. Mr. Smith, I don't think it's going to last the season. I think he's going to be gone. If we go down, I wouldn't mind keeping him. If we go down, I wouldn't mind keeping him for the Championship, because he's proven to be a good Championship manager. However, another one who's had a new contract, Mr. Smith had a new contract, didn't he, when we came up? He signed like a 4-year deal, so he's obviously had a massive pay rise. So I can't see us wanting to pay him off, considering we paid Steve Bruce off to get him. It was a 4 million payoff, I think, or something ridiculous. To be honest with you, when the first goal went in, no one looked bothered anyway, other than Reina. He looked. But yeah, I kind of agree with him. After the first goal, we lost. I do agree with him in that extent, but at the same time, if you had a bit more passion and oomph, I don't think they would have even got a penalty, because it wouldn't have been in our half, and you would have probably scored by then, because we had the better chances before that. So you can look at it either way. Really. Meh. So lastly, we're going to talk about Jack, and then I'm going to read some of the comments from other Villa fans, which I want to read because some of them are fantastic. Jack doesn't look bothered, like I said at the beginning of the video. Doesn't look bothered, doesn't look arsed, doesn't look like he wants to be there. Not just picking on him, half the others don't either, but obviously Jack's the one in the limelight. He's the captain at the end of the day, and if the captain isn't going, come on boys, like he was in the Championship, then I just don't think he's bothered, honestly. He's not bothered. He just wants to leave. He knows he's going to leave. Everyone now knows he's going to leave. However, I do think he's bringing his price down, unless there's a buyout clause, which I think is only 40 million or something ridiculous. If we get 40 million for Jack Grealish, that's going to be an absolute rip-off. It's going to be the bargain of the season. It's going to be even worse than when we bought John McGinn. Personally, I think he's 50, 60 million. To Villa, he's £100 million player, because you're never going to replace him. An academy youth player who's young, English, you're never going to be able to replace that. The only thing that we've got going for us is Louis Barry, who we have just signed, who we haven't seen yet, who's meant to be a sensational player, so who we signed from Barcelona, who hopefully comes in and takes Jack's place, but obviously he's going to be in the Championship next season, so hopefully that'll be a good start for him. So Jack doesn't look like he wants to be here. Half the players don't look like they want to be there, to be fair. I'm just going to quickly talk about the possession and stuff. So Villa had 10 shots, Man U had 13. Now that to me isn't a vast difference, so it wasn't like we were battered. Shots on target, we only had 1. I believe it was from El Ghazi. Man U had 6. Villa had 35% possession. They had 65. We had a lot more fouls against us. The Man U had 13. We only had 7. Yellow cards, we had 2, they had 3. Red card 0-0. Offsides, we had 2, they had 1. And corners, we had 3, they had 5. Now that, to me, that isn't absolutely smashed other than the possession, which is good. But again, stats mean nothing. We could have 1% possession as long as it's a goal. I really couldn't care less. So I want to lastly talk about some fans' comments, because some of them are absolutely fantastic. So people are talking about who they want to replace Jack next season. Someone just said, which is a bit obviously going forward, does anyone think the playoff is achievable next season? People are saying Smith has to go tonight. People are saying, posting screenshots of press and refs saying that the Premier League officials made the wrong decision tonight, which I agree with. But again, it's cost us points and it's game over now anyway. So, but a positive post, it's not technically over yet. We've got 2 horrendous fixtures past us now. It's all to play for. And if we go down, we could make quite a good squad, as we have Steer, Nyland, right back Gilbert, Elmo, centre backs Engels, Konza, Housechester, left backs Target, Taylor, centre mids Nakamba, McGinn, Hurahan, Lansbury, Jota, striker Wesley, Samatta, Barry and Davis. That's if based on Heaton, Mings, Grealish and Luis being sold, which are the only players who are likely to get sold. VAR officials have confirmed that the decisions in all the Thursday games were wrong. And it's just going from there, really. Last fixtures is Palace, Everton, Arsenal and West Ham. Now I can see us, honestly, no joke, if we really get our act together, I can see us getting 9 points out of them. Palace is a 50-50 game. We've already beaten Everton this season. Arsenal are obviously up there, so I'm expecting us to lose that. And West Ham, we can still do this. That's 9 points, guys. We can still make it. We can still stay up. However, in my opinion, are we going to stay up? No, probably not. Not at this point. We've gone past it now. The players' heads are on holiday or wherever the hell else they're going to be. I just don't know. I really don't. I personally think we're gonna go down. The next game, I would just 2 up top. El Ghazi, Trez wings, Luis and Grealish middle, back 4, 2 up top. What can you lose at this point? Against Palace, you've got to go for it, haven't you? You really have. I'm just fed up and stressed out about talking about the same thing, and I'm so sorry this has been quite a negative video. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That's my analysis for the last 2 games. Villa going down and is Jack going? Where do I think Jack's going to go? Well, who knows at this point. There's even talks about Man City signing him to replace some of their players if they leave. So, because obviously they haven't won the Premier this year. So, do I think he's going to go? Yeah, absolutely. I think quite a few players will go. I also think Luis will go back to Man City, if I'm going to be honest. So that's it for this video, guys. I'm so sorry it's been negative. I'm so sorry it's been long as well. I just wanted to make sure I covered everything. I wanted to hear your guys' opinions as well. So let me know in the comments your guys' opinions. Please do leave a like if you like this video. If I'll tell you what, 100 likes on this video and I will bring out a video sooner than next game. I will do a new video during the week. So please do hit a like. Subscribe if you are new, please, as it really helps me out. I really want this sports channel to do well. Thank you so much, guys. Can we stay up? Come on, Villa. Can we stay up? Either way, Villa through and through anyway. Up the Villa. Come on. Come on, boys.